Line up, you f***ing nerds. Who wants a shot at the champ?
They bring the heat.
Francis Ngannou is the hardest puncher in the history of fighting.
They bring the knowledge.
If you think this fight is going 5 rounds, you are out of your mind.
They bring you the picks.
The dog is getting it done in this one.
We deliver every single week. We're bringing the heat, ladies and gentlemen.
The money line.
Don't miss it on the MMA Experts channel each week. The Money Line. We are live. It's UFC 308 Fight Week. I'll be honest, I'm sweating with anticipation for this card. I'm hype as hell. Finch, what's up, buddy?
I'm good, buddy. I dressed up because it's pay-per-view time. AJ's sweating. He looks like they just pulled him out of one of those drains in Tampa from the hurricane, dog. Holy shit. AJ, no collar, it's pay-per-view time, dog.
I'll be honest with you. The best I could do was a t-shirt. I thought about doing a tank top. I said, all right, I'll throw a t-shirt on.
I mean, I respect the t-shirt. It's a health club. What is that?
This is my old gym I used to go to years ago. Esport. I don't go there anymore. It's like the shirt. It's comfortable.
UFC gym, folks. All right.
UFC
Tell them
gym.
Mike Finch sent you. They'll hook you up. If you think that's a joke, I'm serious. Tell them Mike Finch sent you. They'll hook you up.
Nationwide?
All the corporate gyms, they know who the fuck I am.
So if I walked in, I say, yeah.
Florida gyms.
I say, what if I'm like, hey, listen, Mike Finch, also, we host the show together. Do I get a discount or something like
They're
that?
They're gonna plug, dude. I swear you will get plugged. Like I lead. Do you guys know who the fuck I am? I lead fitness director calls with the entire company. All right, so I get all the fitness managers on, and I talk about whatever topic I pick. They know who I am. So I'm somewhat joking, but no, actually, seriously, name drop me. Go ahead, folks. Do it. Get yourself a cheaper membership.
Let's go. If you're going to UFC gym anywhere across the 50 states of the US of A, say Mike Finch sent you, and let's see if we can get some discounts for the people.
You really
so what's up, Finch? You excited? You hype as hell? It's gonna be sick.
Yeah, I'll be at UFC Gym Huntington Beach for this one, so come surprise me if you want to see me. It starts at 11 a.m. pay-per-view. It starts at 11 a.m. Pacific time, so I'm going to teach an anti-bullying seminar. I've been calling it a bullying seminar, and then people correct me. They're like, aren't we teaching anti-bullying? Like, no, I'm the bully. No. I'm teaching the anti-bullying seminar at 10 a.m., and then 11 a.m., I'm kicking it and watching the fights. We'll see who comes through. Sometimes we got, Tito Ortiz and different people coming through. Rampage has been coming through the gym. Giga Chikadze. So hopefully some of the folks will come through, man.
That'd be cool, man. If you're in the LA Huntington Beach area, go visit Mike Finch on fight day. You got to tune in. You get a chance to meet him in person. Meet and greet with Mike Finch. Let's see if anybody shows up. I want to see at least 5.
Let's go. We'll throw it up on Instagram. We'll tag AJ. Let's go. Maybe we can talk from a distance on that. I've seen some of the folks at Bellator, so that was cool.
Yeah,
seeing Hype MMA, seeing a couple of the folks at Bellator has been cool. So here's another opportunity, man. What a card. Holy shit. And I've taken some heat already for the main event pick. My goodness.
Taking heat?
People are really confident in their sides. Like the Topuria people, they are so confident. They think Topuria is the next coming of Jesus. Topuria is the best boxer in MMA history. And then there are people who say that, Max Holloway is an absolute lock. He's being slept on. He's way longer. Topuria can't close the distance on him. I love the hot takes, man. People are pumped for this fight.
I'm pumped for it too, and I think we're going to build the people's anticipation a bit more as we get into it. We got a lot of fights to talk about this week. It's a Thursday, and I've been waiting all week long to chat it up with the Finch man. So let's jump into things. We're not going to BS and banter about last week. You guys know what happened. Michel Pereira got exposed of having no cardio against Fluffy Hernandez. Ngannou destroyed Renan Ferreira, and that was the weekend of combat. But this week, bigger things. We're jumping into it. First fight of the night. We have Fakhretdinov versus Carlos Leal. This is a really good fight because Leal is actually one of the most talented guys coming from a different promotion to the UFC. It's just to step in and fight Fakhretdinov. I have questions about how he will fare with the pressure wrestling. I am going to pick Renat Fakhretdinov by a decision here. And he's an OV. So, in Abu Dhabi too, you really have to favor these Muslim guys. But I like Carlos Leal's skill set. He's very well-rounded. He's got good grappling defense. He's got good offensive grappling. And solid gas tank. He can mix it up for 3 hard rounds. Fakhretdinov is kind of a bit of a gasser. He looks really good in the first 2 rounds. He looks sharp. And then by the end of round 3, he's flailing his arms, throwing weird shots like in his last fight with Dalby and the way they're slugging it out. But if you can beat Nicholas Dalby, regardless of how close it is, I respect the hell out of that win because Dalby is gritty. And I'm not going to pick a debuting Leal on a week's notice to take out a Rinat Fakhretdinov, even though I think he's a good signing and I think he'll get wins in the UFC, not against Fakhretdinov. Fakhretdinov's right up there towards the top 15. I think he holds his place amongst, the better half or the better quarter of the damn welterweight division. Going with Fakhretdinov decision. What you thinking, Finch, man?
Leal is a problem on the feet. Make no mistake about it. But on short notice, Fakhretdinov is not the one. He's not the one because he can absolutely wrestle him. And think about where they are. I like this fight being in Abu Dhabi for Fakhretdinov. I think Fakhretdinov can win round 2 and 3, even if round 1 he has some trouble on the feet. Fakhretdinov hard to finish, a guy who's had to dig deep in fights before. I mean, the UFC experience is real. Leal on a week's notice. This is just a tough one to take on a week's notice. You got to think Fakhretdinov gets this thing done by using his advantage in the grappling. With that being said, I've heard the accusations that Leal's on steroids. If he pisses hot, that would be crazy. That would be crazy. No USADA though, and they're in Abu Dhabi, so I don't know. I just feel like, sometimes you see guys make their UFC debut who've looked a little more explosive outside of the UFC. And I'm like, what's going on there, right? Sometimes. Who knows? I certainly don't. But I think that Rinat Fakhretdinov gets this decision 29-28.
Let me say something about Leal. He was supposed to fight this week in Abu Dhabi at UAE Warriors, but the gripe I have with it is the person who was supposed to fight was on a 3-fight losing streak and was 13-8. It is a substantial jump in competition. Fair points, though, about the PED accusations. I don't know. I'm on the side of innocent until proven guilty, but that's really interesting you say that. I know for a fact they're not testing as strictly at UAE Warriors than a damn UFC event. So interesting, or at all. I'm going to go with the same side, like me and Finch both thinking the same type of thing. I feel like Leal could steal the 3rd round and he could get people excited about future UFC fights. But to fade a Fakhretdinov who's got that gritty experience, regardless of at times he shows some flaws, like the Zaleski fight, he ends up getting a draw. But to be fair, Zaleski's a crafty contender. And even though he's past his prime, he's been in there with good opposition time and time again. And Fakhretdinov, was winning early in the fight. So Rinat Fakhretdinov is Finch and I's pick. As far as the betting side, is he the pick to money line? At minus 220, he's not a very good money line, but, could potentially be something you throw in a parlay. He's an OV, and you got to have confidence in those guys in this side of the world. Leal plus 185 is a dog. I think that Fakhretdinov wins, dominant decision, but at moments it's competitive, but overall he's doing more. And I think he takes it home. So, yeah, decision. I don't know. 29-28 maybe. I could see Leal getting the 3rd round, but I just don't know how he fares with somebody like Fakhretdinov who has this caliber of, takedown ability and pressure.
Win over Brian Battle. How well is that aged? Win over Kevin Lee via guillotine in the 1st round. Nicholas Dalby is underrated as hell, and he beat him. This seems like it's going to be a good matchup for Fakhretdinov, man. And not to say that Leal's not dangerous. Again, it's a roll of the dice when you're striking with the dude. But I think Fakhretdinov gets a hold of him, AJ.
Let's go. Same side. Finch and I both starting it off with Rinat Fakhretdinov to take it home. Our next fight on the card, we have Bruno Silva taking on a very interesting Ismail Naurdiev, who is coming in 1-2 over his last 3. And actually has a loss to Kutsi, who recently lost to Franco on the damn Contender Series. He was stopped bad. And to note something about Naurdiev in that fight with Kutsi, he was doing well. He was looking pretty clean on the feet early, and then he ended up getting caught with a big looping punch. So the question marks could lie around, does Naurdiev take the clean shots from Bruno Silva? To be fair, Naurdiev was kind of quickly released by the UFC during his first stint, lost to Sean Brady in his most recent UFC fight, but he was in his early 20s. I think there's a reason he got re-signed. regardless of maybe lackluster results as of recent outside of the UFC, I still think he's evolved as a fighter. And I think beating this version of Bruno Silva makes a lot of sense here, especially due to the fact that Naurdiev is at 185 now. He was a UFC fighter at welterweight previously, and he was doing a lot of fights at 175 outside of the UFC. I actually anticipate him better with the extra 10 pounds. We've seen it with a lot of young guys. In their early 20s, they're fighting a weight class too low. They build into a nice frame. They grow into the next weight class up, and then they end up doing pretty well. I don't think you should be writing Naurdiev off. I think he's winning this fight. And I feel as though Bruno Silva could potentially be past his best days, regardless of the controversial outcome as he took on Chris Weidman last time. He did lose that fight. Now, he was eye poked a lot. It was a questionable bout. I just question also Bruno Silva's chin at this point with a guy like Naurdiev, and I don't think he's got the speed to necessarily keep up with him. I kind of feel as though Bruno Silva gave his all in that fight against Alex Pereira. And since then, I mean, he's got a knockout of Brad Tavares, fair KO, nice win, but I'm going with Naurdiev. I got a feeling that he's taking this thing home.
I'm going to go with Bruno Silva, but I see what you're saying. It's definitely not one I'm running to Vegas to bet on. I think Bruno Silva's fought from really solid competition in the UFC, and I'm not going to say he's done at 35. I've heard some people say 35 like it's a bad thing. I think, maybe at featherweight, we could start looking at 35 as being towards the end, but these ain't featherweights. I think Bruno Silva can definitely win this fight. I mean, Naurdiev has been finished 3 times outside of the UFC in the last 2 years. He's been submitted, he's been knocked out, and I like that he fights good competition. That's probably why he's getting another shot inside the UFC, but this seems like a bounce back fight for Bruno Silva to me. I think Bruno Silva can just win 2 out of 3 rounds with the kickboxing, especially as the fight goes on. You said it. He had a close fight with Poatan, a competitive fight with Poatan, which was incredible. That was back in 2022. Gerald Meerschaert, he was winning that fight, and then GM3 does what GM3 does. Didn't I call that one? I think I did. And then the Brad Tavares knockout is sick. Since then, though, Brendan Allen, Shara Magomedov, I know Chris Weidman, but going distance with Shara, I don't know, man. I feel like he could survive a Naurdiev fight and win 2 out of 3 rounds. I don't think he's done yet. I understand the folks who do. I get it. Again, this is one of the closest fights on the card. I think it'll be a good scrap, and I'm going to lean the side of Bruno Silva.
Thank you, Ralphie, for 99 cents, buddy. We appreciate you. Now, as far as the betting lines for this fight, as of right now, Naurdiev is swelled to a -175 favorite. Opening odds, he was actually a slight underdog. Yeah. Bruno Silva's +150 as the dog now. So, Finch, you are going for a solid Brazilian underdog.
Now I feel better. Now I'm proud.
The Abu Dhabi bias, dog. I got to favor these guys from this region. I think Naurdiev is live to win, but at -175, I don't necessarily feel as though he's a great bet. If you would have played it at +115, I like that a lot better. Simply put, he hasn't shown that he's definitely going to be successful on this second UFC run. MMA Fiends a Savage, thank you. We appreciate you.
A lot of love in the chat today. I know I've missed a bunch of you guys, but we appreciate it. Fuck yeah. Let's go.
I think that it's a tricky fight. We're going to find out. I think Naurdiev's striking looks pretty clean. I guess I'm also having a bit of faith in his potential moving up to 185 against this version of Bruno Silva. But, hey, we find out on fight day.
What does Max Holloway always say? Hey, we're going to find out. On Saturday night, we're going to find out.
We'll see. We'll see.
The first Max Holloway impression I've ever done. That was pretty bad.
I don't think it's as good as Topuria's, but it's definitely it's there. It's close.
I'm trying, folks. I'm trying. I got a few. The old school fighters. Anderson Silva, Vanderlei. I got a lot of, the old school guys. Georges St-Pierre, I'm not impressed by your performance. I got a lot of the old guys. The new guys, I'll work on it. All right.
You got to work on it, man. Listen, let's go. We're going opposite ends on this one. Finch going dog money Silva. I'm going for Naurdiev to pull through on faith. And let's see. Next fight. Fight number 3. We got Farid Basharat versus Victor Hugo. The pick is Basharat, and I think he's got to be a bit of a lock here. I mean, a win over Taylor Lapilus, to me, is massive, and that speaks volumes to this dude's potential. Basharat is extremely well-rounded with a clean kickboxing skill set. On top of that, he's also pretty solid with his grappling skills, and he's got a wrestling game to mix in. Extreme couture guy. They shore up the wrestling nicely there. 3-0 in the UFC. And I really think that when you dig into his wins, I mean, win over Lapalus is big. Finish of Clayton Rodriguez, regardless of what you say about Clayton, a finish of him is impressive. And beating Damon Blackshear, who, yeah, I understand Montel Jackson made easy work of him recently, but he gave Mario Batista all he could handle. And then on the opposite side, we got just one UFC fight for Victor Hugo, and he took on a short notice replacement in Pedro Falco, and he ended up going distance in that fight. I think he's a decent striker with, some solid BJJ, but at times he's a little out of position and wild, whereas Basharat is so freaking precise and technical. It's got to be Basharat to win it, man.
Well said, because I think that also gets him taken down, right? When he starts getting froggy, he's going to end up on his butt. I think Farid Basharat is going to be able to control where the fight takes place, the pacing of the fight, take it over as it goes long. There are a lot of reasons to like him here, but he opened at like minus 600. I thought it was a little wide. I don't know. I think it's still competitive. I think there's still a risk on the feet, but Hugo having to travel all the way to Abu Dhabi, I guess I get it. And, trust me, I'm looking at it for parlays myself. So Farid Basharat's got to be the pick. I do think he scores takedowns in this fight, and that makes it go his way. But, there's also the possibility that he just keeps tighter on the feet. His defense is more crisp, and he doesn't get caught with a big looping shot from Hugo, who's a decent puncher, definitely a decent kickboxer. Basharat starting to run away with it in round 3. We could say it goes all 3, though.
I like decision as well. Real quick, Ralphie, thank you for 199. Used to go to UFC Fit, but maids took stuff from my locker. Finch, are there maids stealing from my
maids? You got maids? I need some. Can you call the maids to come? I guess if they're stealing your shit, don't call them to come to work at my gym. But some maids, that's nuts, Ralphie. Hey, that's a dope UFC Fit you were going to. No, so UFC Fit is different. UFC Fit doesn't have the cage. You think I want to work at a gym without a cage, dog? If I'm working at the gym, we've got to have the UFC cage, full pay-per-view size cage. So you'll see me at UFC Gym instead of UFC Fit, but that's cool. And lock your locker, dog.
Let's go. Lock that locker up. Timothy Dewey, thank you for the 10, buddy. Let's get the W this weekend. Love Moneyline. Never stop, boys. As long as UFC is around, big W to the 2 best in the game. Let's go, Timothy. We're riding it all the way up. We're going to be here for UFC 1000, baby. Let's go.
Let's go. Hey, $10 is really, really appreciated. Thank you so much, Timothy. Let's fucking eat, dude. This is a good card. I'm super all the fights on the main card. Like, ooh, right? Let's enjoy Saturday.
I honestly think the prelims got me like, ooh, too. For this one, it's like, can Basharat live up to the hype? Some of the other ones got me hyped too. Now, I agree, though. Odds are crazy. It's actually swelled up. At Bet Online, it's minus 800 for Basharat. With Hugo as plus 550 underdog status, that's wild.
They priced it out. They priced it out so you can't even bet on it. Then it's like, damn, is he that much of a dog? Like that makes me. I'm like, he's got a 1 out of 5 chance. I don't know, So, yeah, when the odds get too wide like that, it kind of does fuck with your bets. They try to price it out.
What do you think? The over 1.5 is minus 145.
Very likely to me.
I think that's likely. I'm surprised to see it. I thought it would be like minus 250 at least.
Kind of my thing is now make no mistake. There are some fights where I'm like, this is going under, but as far as bets go, I seem to do best when I select the overs. So I've been hitting pretty high percentages when I pick, which fights are going over. And AJ for this card, as usual, I did the entire card first, then looked at the odds, and some of the overs surprised me. So, but some of my earliest action on these cards, we're looking at, okay, that's a stupid over, and then betting on that,
Yeah, I like that, man. Listen, I think that Basharat's winning. I think it's going over a round and a half. Decision for Basharat is minus 150, but my mind says if you think it's going distance, you're probably better off just, laying it down on over 1.5. Fuck, if it goes to the, middle of the second round, you're good to go.
His mind says distance, but his body is telling him yes. I don't know, man. I feel like if it's Hugo, he has to finish the fight. I think so, right? I think so too. If Hugo pulls this thing out, it has to be by just clipping Basharat on some dumb shit. If Basharat wins, you could definitely see a plethora of ways. And I think the most likely, AJ, has to be decision.
Yeah, I like that. Decision, Basharat, Finchman and I both riding with the same side. Let's keep running. Next fight on the card. Kennedy Nzechukwu versus Chris Barnett. Now, Chris Barnett is jumping in on short notice. He was supposed to be fighting against Tafa at Vegas 98. Had some issues following the hurricane that hit the southeast of the United States, and he ended up pulling out. But to step in quick, and now he's flying across the world, is kind of crazy to me. I feel like Nzechukwu is the sensible pick and the pick that I'm going to ride with. He's got an insane reach and height advantage in this fight here. And I just think that he's going to be a bit more technically sound than Barnett. It's interesting to picture this fight because of the size difference. Like, it's going to be one of the weirder fights, I feel like height and, reach being substantially favored in Nzechukwu. But just looking at a 6'5" dude versus a 5'9" dude, that's kind of crazy. I think Barnett's going to have a hard time reaching the damn chin of Nzechukwu. So I'm going to go with Nzechukwu to win. I think he's live to finish this fight on the ground, potentially ground and pound or a submission. And I'm going to ride with his side to pull it off, Finch. What do you think?
Kennedy Nzechukwu is a minus 900 favorite over Chris Barnett. Kennedy Nzechukwu, the guy who lost to 41-year-old OSP, the guy who goes out there and touch spars people, is a minus 900 favorite. Based on what? Does Barnett suck? Is Barnett the worst fighter in UFC history? You've got to be kidding me. When I see an odd, I'm like, do I bet on Barnett? I'm like looking at Barnett's fat ass fight, and I'm like, is this possible? Can he fucking throw a jump, double, fucking spin, wheel kick, and how he throws goofy shit and find something? He's the athletic butterbean, man. I don't know. I think the odds are absurd for this fight. So Kennedy and Nzechukwu on a money line or on a parlay is even useless. That's how priced out he is. No way I would bet on Kennedy and Nzechukwu. And AJ, a lot of times when I say that, because I've been giving out my bets every week. A lot of times when I say that, I notice when I caution against betting on somebody, the fucking dog does win. That's happened a lot of times where I don't have the balls, to be like, I'm betting on Chris Barnett or whoever the big dog is. And then they fucking win a lot of the time. So based on my history, I should be betting on Barnett. But come on, dog. It's Chris Barnett. Like, I'm just gonna stay away from the pick on this fight. Obviously, it's Kennedy and Nzechukwu. He's very tall, very long kickboxer, but he's not very good. And at minus 900, I don't know what the fuck they're looking at.
Yeah, 9-1 is crazy. Barnett, you can find them at plus 600. The over 1.5 rounds plus 120 here. I do think it's live to go a little bit longer. It's not like Nzechukwu's quick with blasting people out. And Barnett's pretty durable. He's an experienced veteran. I'm picking Nzechukwu to win it, but I could see over 1.5.
Yeah. Yeah, I could see that too. I think that people overestimate like what is Kennedy, some type of berserking like knockout artist, like he doesn't sprint out there and just put people away. So yeah, I guess the pick would be Kennedy by decision.
Kennedy by decision, the official pick for the Finch. I'm thinking an inside distance, maybe ground and pound a sub, but the over is interesting at plus 120. The inside distance line is hideous at minus 275. And decision for Nzechukwu is nice at plus 400. I wouldn't touch inside distance. I would go over 1.5, or I'd ride with the decision.
Kennedy and Nzechukwu by decision plus 400.
Yeah.
I'll give that some more thought.
That might be decent for you. I'm interested. Both
Barnett
of us
does gas.
He does. That's what I'm thinking. He might get finished late.
Yeah.
So.
He's got the Donald Trump diet. Okay. He's over there. He's the guy picking up the fries when Trump is serving him.
Trump's in decent shape.
You know what? He looks like he lost a couple pounds.
He does,
fat, but he looks like he lost a couple pounds for sure.
He's chubby. He's like grandpa chubby. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Chubby,
yeah. My man's got thighs on him. You ever see Trump in some shorts?
No, I never seen it.
Holy moly. My man, he thick. Trump is thicker than a jar of peanut butter.
Finchman and I both going with Kennedy and Nzechukwu. Let's keep running. Next fight on the card, We got Abus Magomedov versus Bruno Ferreira. I'm going with the side of Abus Magomedov. I think that his wrestling advantage is a factor, his striking matches with Ferreira. And I guess I'm a little suspect of Bruno Ferreira. I mean, he's 3-1 in the UFC, and his debut was a huge win over Gregory Rodriguez. But to be fair, I think that he looked a little meh with Dustin Stoltzfus. He was getting hit a good amount in that fight. Abus Magomedov is pretty nice with kickboxing from range. I know he's got a bit of a questionable gas tank, but seemed better, at least against Warley Alves last time out. And Abus Magomedov potentially wrestling with Bruno Ferreira. I know Bruno gets, some hype on his grappling game because he's got the judo base, but it's not like he's elite with the takedowns. I would say he's an MMA striker who did judo at one point in his life, where I think Magomedov is a little bit craftier with his overall kickboxing game. And then with the wrestling edge, I think Magomedov wins this fight, and I'm going to pick him to pull through, potentially a later stoppage or a decision. Magomedov with the better wrestling beats the powerhouse brawler.
Fighting out of Germany. Is that still true? Is he training in Germany? Up there with fucking what fucking mountains has Hamzat been training in? Where the hell is he at? I watched the Countdown show. He's at some like wrestling retreat up in the mountains. I'm like, okay. I don't know about where, it being in Abu Dhabi is interesting. My initial thought after seeing Sean Strickland put him away like that is that Bruno Ferreira is fucking dangerous on the feet. And I know what you're talking about with the Stoltzfus fight, where it was real back and forth before the spinning elbow, which was, bro, a nasty spinning elbow. Nasty. Fucking ugly KO. Beautiful. Phil Hawes, who hasn't knocked out? AJ, have you knocked out Phil Hawes yet? Who hasn't knocked out Phil Hawes yet? Sorry, Phil Hawes. But dog, I mean, if we're gonna make a top 10 chinniest, like, how are we gonna leave out Phil Hawes? With that being said, it's nice coming off of 2 knockout wins. If it was at the Apex, I think I would be favoring Ferreira. It being in Abu Dhabi does make it more interesting. How long was Ferreira out there? I'm starting to get down to those questions, and when I get down to those questions, I'm thinking it's a good fight. So if it's Magomedov, it's with the grappling. I know Magomedov has kickboxing, of course, but Ferreira is going to be fucking dangerous. So I never say this, but it might be a live bet. Like, you start to see the grappling work, start to see Ferreira just get a little bit of that pop off. Like, just get through the first round with Ferreira, and then you got a much, much better chance of beating him. Funny enough, it ended up being Magomedov who wilted when he fought Sean Strickland. So you could accuse Magomedov of the same thing. Good fight, a really fun fight. I have to give you a pick. Fuck. Magomedov in Abu Dhabi is hard to fade, but trust me, I got my eye on Ferreira. I'll think about it.
Yeah, I like Magomedov too as the pick, especially in Abu Dhabi. He's a -135 favorite currently, with Bruno Ferreira at +116. Looking at the fight going longer, over 2.5, I'm seeing at -200, but then I'm seeing it elsewhere at +200. Somebody in chat should double check that. And then looking at the side of Magomedov on the cards, it's +425. I don't know. If you got to bet Magomedov, you do it straight. I think I shoot it in the OVEV parlay type section, and that's where I run it. Quickly, Ralphie, you're a savage. Thank you for 199. What do you? Finch under 1.5 versus Finch. I'm like Finch. What do you Finch about? What?
Who is this?
Finch CM Punk. Does it go under 1.5?
Brother, I have had 5 MMA fights. I finished my first fight, second fight, third fight, fourth fight, and fifth fight. You think I'm going over 1.5 with that fucking bum? Are you kidding me? I'm taking CM Punk out in the first round. I don't play with my food. It would be a wrap, son. All right. I've seen him over that Rufus Sport. Okay. I'd take him out. But thank you for the $2, Ralphie. I appreciate it.
Let's go. 199. Thank you, buddy. And to TTG Matt, he says, yo, AJ, yo, Finch, man. Much love, guys. First time catching a live stream. Always watch right after you drop. Hey, well, welcome to the live. And there's your shout out. Let's go. Let's get
shout
it.
Shout out. We appreciate the live. What do we got up to? 300 fucking people. Hit the like button. Subscribe if you're new, subscribe. Turn the post notifications on. And let's get into this fucking card.
Let's do it. Let's do it. Magomedov, the pick for us both, but I like what you said, Finch. I like the live bet because maybe Ferreira does damage early and gasses out. Maybe Magomedov's wrestle fucking him. It's very interesting. I guess, if I had to bet one of them, I am going to say Magomedov, but it seems a little more crafty, but Ferreira is definitely more powerful. So punching people in the face, it's fighting, man. Somebody could get knocked the fuck out.
It's a dangerous fight for Magomedov, man, but it'll prove a lot if he gets past this one. Yeah, if he wrestles, that would be smart. So yeah, I agree with you on Magomedov, but if Fahea's been out there for a month, if he's been wrestling with the right guys, I could be convinced.
I mean, do you want me to see if he's been out there for a month?
Sure.
I mean, I'm on his Instagram right now. Sure. So Bruno Ferreira, I'm seeing a post of him. Abu Dhabi, you beautiful. This is from yesterday. And then we finished training here in Abu Dhabi. We're ready. That's a day ago. A lot of his shit is recent. He's training with Bruno Silva. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, 2 weeks ago, I'm seeing him training, but I don't know.
I need him training with dudes trying to take him down for sure.
Yeah.
Put him in there with Hamzat. If he did the camp with Hamzat, I'm picking him.
Nah, he didn't do the camp with Hamzat, bro. He did the camp with Bruno. So him and Bruno striking with each other.
Fade him.
Fade him. Yep. We're going with Abus Magomedov to pull through. The Instagram sometimes will give you the info that you can't get elsewhere.
True.
Yeah.
True. You could keep digging forever. True.
Yeah. Let's go. We're going with Magomedov. Let's keep running. Next fight on the card, it's Mitsabek Orolbai versus Mateusz Rębecki. Got to go with the side of Orolbai, 10,000 BC to pull out the victory. I like his wrestling in this fight. It's a substantial factor. I think he's relatively good with his striking. I know he had some difficulty with Elvis Brenner last time, but I think Brenner's a little bit better from the bottom. Rębecki's good at dominating people. He thrives in a fight where he's going to have a little bit of the edge in the wrestling. He's going to have that power edge. And you know what? Early against Diego Ferreira, he was looking clean, but then Ferreira kind of exposed him a little later on. Rębecki's a pretty stocky guy. Maybe not the best gas tank in the game. I just simply think Orolbai is going to be too good. I feel like maybe Orolbai had a subpar performance as he took on Elvis Brenner, because I just have a hard time believing that he isn't able to beat a Rębecki. But like the Alves Brenner fight gets you worried a little bit because he's competitive in moments with Brenner, and then Brenner got absolutely exposed versus Yoel Alvarez last time out. But I think styles make the fights. I think Orolbai is the better wrestler. I think Orolbai is going to be fine on the feet. I will say Rębecki does have pretty clean power with his straight left. He's a dangerous striker, southpaw too, and he's coming out hot early in fights. I just think Orolbai can weather a storm. I think he can time takedowns. I think he can clinch up with him. I got to favor Mitsabek Orolbai to be able to outwork Rębecki, and I think he gets a decision here.
Especially coming off of the, getting grounded and pounded out by Diego Ferreira. Yeah, Orolbai has got to be the pick here due to the grappling advantage. Again, the Abu Dhabi location, all that stuff is looking good. Orolbai rides in on a fucking mammoth. The guy looks like he's straight out of an Evolution documentary. How are you going to knock this fucking guy out? I feel like he's getting a hold of everybody, dragging him onto the ground. And, he's got the strength of his ancestors. This guy's a legit Neanderthal. I think that he's going to be able to get a hold of Rębecki and then drag him into some deep waters. Potentially a third round finish. I could see him breaking him again, Diego Ferreira in the third round finish. I'd be really surprised actually if they went all three. So Orolbai with a late stoppage makes a lot of sense to me. This should be a big statement win for him here on a big card.
Mitsabek Orolbai too. If you look at the wins, Uros Medic's freaking submission is pretty impressive, and that was up at welterweight in the debut. And then like Elvis Brenner's crafty, even though he's not elite. Mateusz Rębecki's wins debut against Nick Fior, which I was actually underwhelmed in that fight. Beat Loic Rajabov, which is a decent win, and then submitted Roosevelt Roberts, which he should do something like that. That was pretty impressive with the armbar. But yeah, Diego Ferreira last time gave him the business. And I'm just concerned, man. Later in the fights, if he gasses out or by putting it on him live to finish him on the ground, definitely live for a late stoppage. What's interesting? Mitsabek Orolbai's final pre-UFC fight was actually against Hybrid Nation from chat. Hayward Charles, he's a subscriber to the channel, bro. He was Orolbai's last fight in LFA. Yeah.
That's
he's
crazy.
a sub. He's in a lot of the live streams, bro. Shout out to him.
Shout out to him. Made it to the second round too.
Yeah.
Finishing Euros Medic, nice finish win to finish him in the second round. Sick. Elves Brenner's no joke. So if he's beating up Elves Brenner like that, I think he's a lock here.
Yeah, let's go. Orolbai to pull through. He's a freaking chalky favorite though. -340 from Mitzabek Orolbai.
That widening, really? I bet on some of these, and I caught him at better odds than that. You've read off 2 to me now that widened.
Yeah, bro. If you waited this week, you're definitely having to lay some chalk down.
All right. Well, that's why we've been dropping the premium bets every single day. See, they tell me like, Mike, I don't want to wait till weigh-ins. I'm like, all right, fuck it. I drop one Monday, one Tuesday, one Wednesday, and this is why.
I like it. I like it. Listen, Mitzabek Orolbai to pull through. Finchman and I both riding with the Savage from the ancient times.
The fucking, you ever seen Secret Life of Walter Mitty?
Nah, I didn't see it. I don't think.
Ben Stiller, you never seen that?
Oh, yeah, I did see it. I did see it.
When he goes and he's trying to find the photographer, and he goes and the guys in the mountains lead him to the photographer. He's one of those mountain guys, man. He's got he takes you up to fucking Mount Everest, that's Orolbai.
I'll be honest, I was too stoned to remember any of the movies.
I'll send it to you, Doc.
Let's go. Next fight on the card, we got Geoff Neal versus Rafael dos Anjos. Woo!
Yeah.
The pick is Geoff Neal. RDA is about to be 40, man. Come on. And I think Neal's striking's clean. Battle of southpaws. I think Neal defends the takedowns, lands some clean shots on the feet. Geoff Neal's powerful. He's got knockout potential in this fight. Neal can crack. I think Geoff Neal could knock out this version of RDA, especially at 170. Going with Geoff Neal to find it. I think his stand-up's clean, bro. What are you thinking, Finch?
Aren't there just a couple of these picks on the card where you go, my heart is over here, but my mind is over here? Like, RDA's cardio is tremendous. He could really use that thing as a weapon, because we've seen Neal get too caught up in grappling and lose rounds because of it. But yeah, he's got more pop on his shots. He's going to be able to punch RDA in the face. I think he'll probably hurt RDA. I hope he doesn't get him out of there. Damn it, AJ, you picked him by knockout. You might be right. Fuck.
I could see it at this point.
Yeah, I'm rooting for RDA, man. Incredible. I watched him spar round after round. They put me in like the third round. RDA's like taking it easy on me, just touching me. I go sit out. I fucking catch my breath. I see him spar another round. Then they put me in again for the fifth round. This motherfucker's still not gassed. I'm more gassed than him 1 minute into the fucking fifth round. RDA's gas tank is it's not human. I mean, his gas tank is tremendous. His biggest problem is getting beat up by dudes who are bigger, stronger wrestlers. There are many examples of that happening. Both of these guys have fought such tremendous competition. So it's weird that I'm picking this striker against him, because RDA is so well-rounded, jiu-jitsu black belt, pretty good wrestling at this point, and no slouch on the feet. He was the former lightweight champ, but undersized, old now. It's not the time, man. At a different time, I would pick RDA here. The pick's Neal, and I hope I don't see RDA flat out, but that's a possibility.
Geoff Neal is the last man to beat Bilal Muhammad, bro. Isn't that crazy?
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. See, these guys have fought the who's who.
Yeah.
Look at RDA's fucking resume. Who does not respect what RDA has done? The man's never said no in his life. Okay, works his ass off every single day. I remember just scrolling through Jason Perillo's Facebook each day. Every day he's over in RDA's garage, fucking boom, 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 holding pads. I mean, RDA's always running. He's always putting in extra work. An absolute workhorse of a man. Nothing but respect to the legend.
Nothing but respect, but Geoff Neal should take it home over the OG. As far as the odds for this fight, Neal's a chalky -280 favorite with RDA at +240. Neal KO +175, Neal decision +125. It's live, but I don't know. I'm not chasing the KO.
Yeah, if I'm betting on Neal, there's no way I'm betting on a finish. If you need to parlay it, you need to parlay it. But that's how I feel.
I agree with that. I think Neal is a potential parlay load up, but I don't think he's prop bet chase, especially at plus 175. He told me it was plus 400. I'd be like, I can get the knockout at 4-1. It's worth it, but not at plus 175. Absolutely not. So Geoff Neal, the pick for us both, Finch. We're going against the OG, man.
I actually threw this one in my free channel already, didn't I? I did. I put this one. I don't want to fuck it up, so I'm giving you guys the right one. Yeah, so I did Basharat and I did Neal. So you put that parlay together, it was minus 180. I mean, Basharat and Neal, it's confident, right? It's confident. So minus 180 is not crazy.
Let's go. Minus 180, minus 280 now, though. It's gotten wide.
Stop. Oh, you're saying money line for this fight. I'm talking about
with
the parlay.
Sorry. Misunderstood.
Basharat and Neal, 2 money line parlay.
Yeah, I think that's going to hit. Let's go. Finch and I both going with Geoff Neal. Let's keep running. Let's jump to our featured prelim of the night. It's Ibo Aslan versus Rafael Cerqueira. And I'm going with Cerqueira to pull off the win in this one. I think that Ibo Aslan is a little too stiff for my liking. And he was getting touched against Turkali, the pleasure man, last time. Cerqueira's got some hype on him. Trains with Jailton Almeida. Seems like he's a very crafty kickboxer. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt to go alongside of it. I don't know about Ibo. Ibo gets a lot of hype. He's a powerhouse. He throws some bombs, but I just feel like there's no head movement. And when you're taking on a guy like Cerqueira, who can definitely strike well and is maybe a little quicker, maybe a little cleaner with his straight shots, I don't think Aslan's just bullying him. Unless Cerqueira ends up having a glass jaw, which, I mean, there's no evidence of him having a glass jaw, but there's also, minimal evidence of how he's going to do at the UFC level. But he's 11-0 as a professional. I got to give the man his respect. The biggest fight of his life, taking on Ibo Aslan, which is a legit solid step up in competition for him. But I think Cerqueira could end up pulling off the W here.
Yeah, in a straight striking, by the way, they're both fucking knockout artists. They're both tremendous. In a straight striking matchup, I could see that too. But you just told me something. Aslan's a jiu-jitsu black belt?
Cerqueira's jiu-jitsu black belt.
Cerqueira is. Okay, yeah. Then I agree. Cerqueira, we'll go with the Brazilian. You want to talk about an under bet? I mean, I think these guys are going to war. So I could imagine, one of these bodies falling in the first round. Cerqueira's, they're both, I was about to say he's dangerous. They're both fucking dangerous. So Cerqueira first round knockout, but Aslan's going to be in there with him going toe to toe.
What I'll tell you is interesting too with this fight here. It was originally supposed to be first fight of the night. They decided to bump it all the way up to the featured prelim. And I think that's because they know something. There's a lot of rumblings around Cerqueira being a really talented guy. And then obviously Aslan's a powerhouse and he's got a fun style. So this is a pretty sick fight to close out the prelims. But when you really look at it, it's kind of crazy, right? That the former champ RDA is under these two. And Aslan's 1-0 in UFC. Cerqueira making his debut. That tells me, though, that they're recognizing this could be an action-packed war. And to head up to the pay-per-view, you cap it off with a sick fight.
Knockout.
More likely to get fans to buy it.
You got it. I think that's 100% it. Yeah, if you're just looking at resumes, like, of course, you're going to put RDA and Neal as the headliner, but I think they want to invest in the young talent. And I think these are two guys who have, potentially bright futures in the UFC. So keep your fucking eyes peeled. This will be a fun one.
Cerqueira is a slight favorite at the moment. The odds have shifted. He's around minus 130, whereas Ibo's plus 110 is the dog. Cerqueira by KO is currently sitting at plus 175. And then under 2.5 is actually all the way up at minus 375. I think Cerqueira is live to chin him. I think somebody's getting finished, and I think it's going to be a sick fight. You know what? Cerqueira by sub is interesting too. My bad, Finch, for cutting you off. I just wanted to read off.
No, you're all good. And by sub is relevant. I think this is a fight that ends inside distance. So I didn't even look at the lines or anything like that. I'm just freeballing here. Sub is live too, of course. If the sub is, with the jiu-jitsu black belt as well, now you got me more confident in Cerqueira.
7-1. You know what? The D-Gen sub call is really interesting, especially because Turkali did sub Aslan, and Cerqueira could potentially sub him too. I know Turkali lost the rematch, but I like Cerqueira. I like Cerqueira to win. I think the odds are too close here. It's because of his lack of resume, but I think skill-wise he'll look minus 250. Yeah, it's even odds.
Interesting.
Yeah.
All right, I'll take a deeper dive, man. You're getting me interested in this one. I wasn't thinking about betting on this fight.
Let's go. Let's go. Those are the prelims. It's time to jump to the main card. If you guys haven't yet, make sure you guys smash the like button. And if you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe it up. First off, we got Shara Bullet Magomedov versus Armen Petrosyan. Fantastic fight. I think Shara Bullet's striking is a bit cleaner than Petrosyan's, but Armen Petrosyan is a talented kickboxer too. It's a competitive fight. I got to ride with the hype, though. How can I not go with Patches the Pirate, yo? Shara Bullet Magomedov is somebody that is being built up by the UFC. He's a really slick kicker. His kicking skills are out of this world. I'd say big edge for him is going to be in kick speed. Armen Petrosyan probably looks to wrestle a bit here. He's not an awful wrestler. And to be fair, resume-wise, Armen Petrosyan is rather impressive. Lost last time to Rodolfo Vieira, but that's like an opposite matchup. Vieira is literally all grappling, whereas Shara is all striking. Before that, he won a dominant decision against Christian Leroy Duncan, beat AJ Dobson, a loss to Kyle Bahayo in the mix, and then a split decision to debut over Gregory Rodriguez and a Contender Series knockout. Armen Petrosyan's crafty, and honestly, when you just compare resumes, it seems as though he would be the favorite without the Shara Bullet hype. Shara Bullet's biggest win is the Bruno Silva fight in his debut. Following that, he beat Tricoli, and then he beat McCall Oleg-Jaychuk, but he looked subpar at times, tying up in the grappling exchanges with Oleg-Jaychuk, who's primarily a boxer. I am still going to pick Shara Bullet, but I am on the cautionary side of throwing the heavy dollars down on it. You know what I'm saying? What do you think, Finch?
I think that this is a good matchup for Shara Bullet. I actually included this in my top 5 most confident picks on the card because I like Shara Bullet in Abu Dhabi. I like the role he's on. He's such a talented kicker. The matchup just seems favorable to him. Not that Armen Petrosyan is bad. Armen Petrosyan's been, pretty 50-50 with the decent competition outside of the top 10 in the UFC. But I think Shara Bullet's better. I think Shara Bullet's going to be able to handle the green zone really well, and that Armen Petrosyan might try to even take him down, but he has enough takedown defense to grapple with that average MMA wrestling that Armen Petrosyan would carry. If Armen Petrosyan had better offensive wrestling, if this was a wrestler on the other side of Shara Bullet, now I'm concerned. If this is a guy who has big time one punch knockout power and can close distance, red to yellow green to yellow to red zone, wow, close that distance. Topuria does that really well. Different weight class, but you understand what I'm saying. Then I'm concerned, but this ain't Bo Nickel. This is Shara Bullet. So I think that this is Armen Petrosyan. So I think Armen Petrosyan gets out kicked by Shara Bullet, and he fights him where he's strongest. If you read Sun Tzu's The Art of War, you try to fight your enemy at their weak points. I don't think Armen Petrosyan is capable of doing that. I think just like Oleg-Jaychuk, even though, as you said, we saw some holes in Shara's game, no question that once Shara breaks into that top 10, he's going to have some issues based on where his skill set's at right now. But this fight makes sense. That's why I'm confident. And it was minus 150 when I bet on it. I don't know what it is right now. Shara Bullet is my pick.
Currently, Shara Bullet is sitting at minus 163 as the favorite, with Armen Petrosyan as a plus 143 underdog. Money lineable side is Shara Bullet. I think his kick speed is the difference maker. Excuse me, bro. That's a rip for Shara Bullet, bro. A rip of the burp coming up, bro. It's a Shara Bullet, you know what I'm saying? A little Shara Bullet gas coming out. Shout out Shara Bullet, the one-eyed savage. I'm excited to see it. I hope that he wins too. Could be some sick fights for him. Like if Bruno Ferreira wins, can you imagine they match those two up? That's
sick. I like that, AJ. As usual, AJ making good fights.
Hey, I got a new series coming out every Monday, Matchmaker Mondays, bro. I'm doing full matchmaking for the UFC cards now.
Have we not been asking for this? Let's go, AJ. Good shit.
It's coming. Every card, bro. Every card. Even the smaller ones. I'll be the one guy doing the fights to make next for, bro. I think it's worthwhile.
Fuck yeah, dude. No, really cool. Yeah, that's your strong suit for sure.
Thanks, man.
Look, man, I wouldn't chase. I personally wouldn't chase, the finish on this one, especially because the odds are not crazy. Like, chasing Shara Bullet by decision. I mean, he could fucking slam a head kick up there. I don't know. If I already did. I already bet on Shara Bullet. If I'm betting Shara Bullet, I'm going money line.
You're building my Shara Bullet confidence, man. I was curious where you're at. When I was talking, I was looking at you. I was like, he's making a face that he's about to say Petrosyan.
No, I'm reading the comments over here. Yeah, I like Armin, but he's a gatekeeper, and I think Shara gets through the gate.
Let's go. Shara Bullet to burst through the gate and hopefully fight at UFC Macau, which is coming up next month. And if he comes out relatively clean, I'm sure. He said he wants to be the most active fighter on the roster. So you got to respect and love that.
Of course.
Yeah. Let's go. Shara Bullet for the W for us both. Let's get to the next fight. We got Lerone Murphy versus Dan Ige in a high-level clash of guys at 145 pounds. Dan Ige's stock has rose even in defeat, going out there and giving, a relatively good fight to Diego Lopez on just a few hours' notice. Now he's fighting the unbeaten Lerone Murphy, who's coming off of a massive win against Edson Barboza. Now, prior to that, win over Josh Culibao was less impressive. And then prior to that, really competitive fight against solid prospect Gabriel Santos, which, he nearly lost that fight. Dan Ige on the opposite side, of course, the Lopez fight last time, but before that got a sick KO of Andre Fili. And then prior to that, he actually got out-grappled in a really close fight with Bryce Mitchell. Granted, he did a lot of damage to Bryce Mitchell, but the judges in that fight tended to score the grappling as opposed to the hands and the power shots. But regardless of that, different style of matchup. I think Lerone Murphy wins a hard-fought decision. I think 29-28. I think Ige has moments in the fight. I won't be shocked if Murphy mixes in some clinch work, maybe lands some takedowns. Dan Ige's cleaner with his boxing, but I think Lerone Murphy might be a tad bit more well-versed and maybe can time the takedowns at the right point, back him up a bit, strike. I think he's going to strike with him, and I think he'll have moments, but I think Ige's a bit faster and more powerful. I don't know. I think Lerone Murphy's pretty technically sound with his kickboxing, so I could see him landing some leg kicks, even some body kicks in the fight. I like the chances of Murphy taking a close one. What do you think, Finch?
That's interesting. I think you're giving Dan Ige a lot of credit. Look, I respect Dan Ige. I mean, the balls to step up on day's notice, that's crazy. That's awesome. Dan Ige's got pretty clean hands. I like the deep stance. He's got, he's good on the floor. I mean, he's a fucking test for anybody. No question about it. But Murphy just beat the shit out of Edson Barboza, and I don't think it's because Edson Barboza's old. I think it's because Murphy's good. He just went 5 rounds. He's been looking good. He's on fire right now. I think he runs over Dan Ige. I think he's going to fuck Dan Ige up. I think Dan Ige is the one who's going to get outstruck in this fight. I don't think it's going to be close. I think Lerone Murphy is on his way up, heading towards title contention, and that Dan Ige can't hope for that. Dan Ige's not that good. I think we've seen the best Dan Ige fights. I don't think we've seen the best Lerone Murphy fights yet. And I think he's going to be able to potentially fucking beat up Dan Ige to the point where he puts him away. I could see a Lerone Murphy decision, but I'm thinking 30-27. And I'm thinking Lerone Murphy can, potentially hit a takedown or two, beat him up in the clinch, beat him up at distance. Dan Ige's arms are as short as a 4-year-old's. I think he's going to be able to bomb on him. I think he's faster than Dan Ige. So just interesting to hear your confidence in Dan Ige and that you think it'll be close. I don't know. You could count me a Lerone Murphy fan at this point. I think that I think his best days are ahead of him, and that this is just a stepping stone.
Listen, I respect the side, and I do think Murphy's on the come up, riding with the pick. I like the over 2.5's chance to hit at -400. I personally think it's going to go all 3. -260 for Murphy, Ige +220, and then Murphy on the cards sitting at -150. The thing with Lerone Murphy is at the highest level of the game, he's not been showing a ton of knockout ability. He did have a knockout in his second UFC fight. He knocked out Hamosh, but Hamosh is a bit of a meh. And then he beat Makwan Amirkhani by KO. But I think Ige can survive till the final bell. Hard 3 rounds. I think Ige could get touched a bit, but I think that he does survive, though, till the end of it. I like the over 2.5. I think it's going long.
I definitely could see that. Ige's only lost by decision. All 8 losses, all of his losses are by decision. So I understand what you're saying. That makes sense. I think that this is a moment where Murphy needs some statements, and the fights aren't going to get easier for him. So I like him against Dan Ige. I do.
Let's go. Lerone Murphy, the pick. for Finchman and I both as we run up to our featured fight. We got Magomed Ankalaev versus Alexander Rakić. I'm picking the side of Magomed Ankalaev, and I'll elaborate on it a bit more. And I know Finch, you said you hadn't seen my other breakdown here, so I want to tell you what I think about Rakić, and I think you'll like what I'm saying. From the long range, Alexander Rakić is one of the best in the light heavyweight division. Striking from range, he's incredibly crisp. He's incredibly clean. But the problem is, as he gets into boxing range, he doesn't have great inside fighting skills. I don't think he's incredibly good with his hooks in close. I don't think he's a super crafty boxer. I think he's a good kickboxer from long range, or he can overpower some guys and brutalize them. But he's not going to be able to do that here with Magomed Ankalaev. Ankalaev is a very patient but pressure-heavy fighter who has nice boxing in close. He's got good punch combinations. Magomed Ankalaev's boxing at this point, I feel like, is a bit underrated. There's kind of like this weird narrative that's going around that he's boring, but Ankalaev is normally pretty entertaining. And I think Ankalaev might get touched up with kicks from the outside early, but I believe being in southpaw, the calf kick is going to be a less efficient technique for Rakić in this fight, unless he's really ripping that lead leg heavy or switching stances.
Poatan did it.
Poatan's a different breed. I think Rakić is good, but I don't think Rakić is good enough to beat this version of Magomed Ankalaev. I'm going to say Ankalaev earns his title shot. He beats Alexander Rakić, and I think he stops him in the second or third round. But there is a rumor, or rather the coach said it, that Rakić was on antibiotics against Prochazka and wasn't at his 100% best. So I don't know.
Wow, I didn't hear that. You're just telling me that right now. I think Ankalaev could potentially beat Alex Pereira. I think Ankalaev is a pretty bad matchup for the top 5 in the division. And Ankalaev's striking, as you said, is underrated. He's put people away on the feet. Johnny Walker, he knocked out, right?
Yeah, he chinned him bad.
He chinned him. He knocked out Johnny Walker, which, okay, he's not the first guy to knock out Johnny Walker, but, Johnny Walker was doing like capoeira in that fight. You remember that shit?
Yeah. He looked crazy in that fight.
Capoeira in that fight. Yeah, he was going off. And Ankalaev stays disciplined, under chaos. He stays disciplined. He hits the takedowns, Again, we're in Abu Dhabi. Like, if the judges are going to be a little biased one way, which way are they going to be biased for? I don't know. Maybe the EV. And then, the takedowns he should be able to hit here, and he should stay relatively safe on the feet. Something I like about Ankalaev, and the reason why he's a bettable guy, is he doesn't take huge risks. He's pretty consistent. He's not out there doing capoeira. And I do think that his overall game, he should dominate Rakić. With that being said, Rakić looks very, very strong right now. Interesting. He's posted some photos where, like, damn, Rakić is hitting these fucking weights. So I don't know if, AJ's accused some guys of this before. I don't like to do it, but I don't know. Hopefully not. Hopefully everybody's clean. And if they're both clean, Ankalaev should dominate him, man. I think Ankalaev is on his way to a title shot and a fun fight with Poatan.
I like it. Ankalaev to win, the pick for both of us. Ralphie, thank you for $4.99. What do you think about Abus Ferreira over 1.5? It's going to be a sweaty over with the way Ferreira fights. I'll say yes, but you're going to sweat, and I'm a little bit nervous for you.
Yeah, bro. You know that feeling you get when you look over the edge of a cliff? You feel that in your stomach. You're going to be feeling that when Ferreira's spinning back elbow, fucking flying knee, left hook, right hand in that first round. You're going to be you're going to need that. You're going to look like that fat dude on American Idol. He had the fucking rag all the time, right? You're going to be that guy. I don't know about over 1.5. I do have a bet on an over 1.5, but it ain't that fight.
Let's go. Thank you, Ralphie. Ankalaev is a chalky favorite. As of right now, you got to lay the chalk heavy, -375. He becomes a parlay piece. He is a confident pick for me. Rakić at +300, over 2.5 at -200. And then looking at Ankalaev by decision is -115 with a KO at +235. Second round KO for Ankalaev is +800 with third round at +1400. I don't know why I'm feeling this later stoppage.
I could see he needs it because, like you said, Ankalaev's been constantly accused of being boring. He hasn't fought in a while. I think he needs to posture up and drop those elbows. This is what I was saying on my show. I was like, somebody fucking tell Ankalaev to ground and pound these guys, dude. Posture up and just drop some fucking elbows down and get one of these fights, you know, because he's got a bad rap from the Jan Blachowicz performance. He's got a bad rap where AJ just said it. Everybody thinks he's boring, and he's not. And he needs to show that. So him going for a finish in the third round makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I like the latest stoppage for Ankalaev. Both of us picking him, which I expected here. Looking at the side of Ankalaev's resume, tell me, Finch, if you think it is title shot worthy. Win over Johnny Walker last time. Prior to that, he had a no contest against Walker. Before that, the draw for the belt against Jan Blachowicz, where he finished very strong. Then he's beaten the likes of Anthony Smith and Thiago Santos as of recent. But before that, win over Volkan Oezdemir as well, which is massive. On the side of Rakić, he's got 2 losses in a row. The Blachowicz fight, I know he got injured 2.5 years ago, but you got walked down and hurt bad against Yuri Prohashka. I guess title shot is on the line, though. I think even if Rakić wins, he could find himself in line, even with, 2 L's as of recent, just simply because availability reasons. But
Magomed Ankalaev is currently the #1 ranked light heavyweight in the world. He's tied with Prohaska for that. Jamal Hill's underneath it, LOL. Jan Blachowicz and Alexander Rakić are underneath that. So in the top 5, he's already beaten. Well, what a draw. Come on. 2 of them. And does anybody really want to see Jamal Hill's bum ass get another shot? So, and Yuri Prohaska just got knocked the fuck out. So Magomed Ankalaev is obviously the one up for a title shot, AJ, but it's not because of the reason you said. What you just said, let's look at his resume. If you do that, no light heavyweight deserves a title shot. Let's close the fucking division down. Dana, we're throwing these bums out of here. Close the fucking division because there's a bunch of, I'm not fighting. This was a bad fight. These guys aren't that good. There's a lot of things to worry about, all right? I think Vadim Nemkov beats a lot of these fucking guys.
He's at heavyweight now.
That's true.
If he's a heavyweight, it's different. If he was
I
at
think
light
Johnny
heavyweight,
Evelyn moves up and beats a lot of these guys. I think Corey Anderson beats a lot of these guys. I think they fucked up by getting rid of Yoel Romero. I feel like, Ryan Bader can still fight a light heavyweight. Nah, he's old now. Let Ryan retire. You get my drift. I feel like the UFC does not have it's not their strongest division. And so because of that, the obvious choice is yes, Ankalaev should get a title shot if he finishes Rakić on Saturday.
Yeah, I think so. Ankalaev versus Ferreira is a cool fight. And I know a lot of Ferreira fans are sweating that fight big time. And I'm a Ferreira fan too, but I also like Ankalaev. And it's about time we make it happen if the stars align and Ankalaev goes out and looks impressive, because I guess they said the UFC told him he's got to be impressive before he just gets a title shot, even if he wins against Rakić. We'll see what happens.
Exactly. And hopefully he does. Hopefully he takes that advice. People got to stop going to war with the UFC. When they want to get stuff from the UFC, like, you want a title shot, like, don't bitch that it was, the decision's this, the UFC's that. Whatever he was doing, he was like battling Dana. Like, bro, like, take your fucking draw, suck it up. You're right at the top of the light heavyweight division. Go out there, extreme ownership. You watch Jocko Willink, extreme ownership. Go out there and fucking put a performance on. If he puts Rakić away, no reason why he doesn't get the Poatan fight, and it'll be fucking fun.
Let's go. Ankalaev for the win for us both. Let's run it up to our co-main event of the evening. We got Robert Whittaker versus Khamzat Chimaev. Of course, I'm picking Khamzat, my man. That's my favorite fighter in the UFC still, bro. I'm a Khamzat guy.
Don't make me tell the people. Don't make me tell the people.
What,
AJ was getting off the Khamzat train for a while there.
I jumped back on. I can't. When I hear him talk, when I'm like, bro, that's my favorite fighter in the UFC.
Off air, AJ was jumping off the fucking Khamzat train
for a little bit. I'll admit it.
When the roads were rocky, AJ jumped off the fucking bandwagon.
Not officially. Right? I never picked against him.
All right.
Doesn't count unless I pick against him.
That's true.
Fair?
That's true. You didn't pick
fair,
against
right?
him. That's true.
I think that Khamzat Chimaev is going to show Rob Whittaker a different level of grappling. I think Khamzat Chimaev is deceptively powerful in the stand-up as well because of the wrestling threat. He can have moments with Whittaker. And I think this is going to be Chimaev's coming out party, training with a new style Okay, he's gonna have better recovery. I think he doesn't gas like he used to. And going back and rewatching the Usman fight, he's even taking him down in round 3. I don't think Whittaker can stop that freaking takedown. I think Chimaev's gonna be wrestle fucking him, and I think he's gonna be able to finish Rob Whittaker in this fight. I'm going Chimaev inside distance, either ground and pound or submission. Khamzat for the W. Whittaker's striking is phenomenal, but he himself, I watched the press conference, I reacted to it, I got a video out. I felt like Whittaker told us he knows he's fucked. If they hit the grappling, he's fucked. And that's where Chimaev's going to take it. Chimaev for the win. Let's go.
I'm so excited for this fight. I'm so fucking excited. Seasons don't fear the reaper, nor do the wind or the sun or the rain. We can be like they are. Come on, baby, don't fear Whittaker. Baby, take my hand. Don't fear the reaper. It'll be. That's a fucking great song. That is a great song. Blue Oyster Cult. That's a fucking great song.
Yo,
dude.
bring up this guy right here real quick. Holy shit. Homework. Hopefully he's an OG of the chat. I trust him. He said that Khamzat had the same surgery as DDP. Oh shit.
Khamzat fixed his breathing issues and got the same exact surgery as DDP back in January. Yo, positive and negative though. Okay, I got some info on that surgery. I got some info on that. You know how I got some info on that surgery? Look at my nose. I can't hardly breathe out of this fucking nostril. It's like I'm breathing through a fucking coffee straw. So I've gone in and I got advice about it too. Okay. I'm like, yo, 90% of the air is coming through this one. I got to sleep on my left side so I can fucking breathe. Like maybe I should get it done. And they were like, yeah, do you play sports? I'm like, oh yeah, I'm an MMA fighter. They're like, don't get your nose fixed. Why? Because your face will cave in. They're like, it's way easier to break your nose after you get that surgery. It happened. Was it Misha Tate? I don't want to say the wrong person, but it was a female fighter. I think it was Misha Tate. And then immediately it was broken when she came back after getting it done. She got her nose broken right away. Like you're supposed to wait to fix it after your career. There's a video on YouTube of Joe Rogan getting it done because Joe Rogan had the deviated septum too, and Joe showed like how much fucking gauze was open, how to open up his nose. Now he's got like a wider nose. He's talked about that on his podcast. So it's a serious, surgery. You would think it's simple, right? Just clear the nostril out. Like, nah, bro, they peel your shit back. They're in there with a hammer and chisel and shit. It looks like Michelangelo making the David. They're in there working. So
that shit.
And Khamzat's got a schnoz on him. All right. He's got a schnoz on him. So could Khamzat get his nose broken easier? Potentially. Is it going to help him with his cardio? Probably. Because I used to get those mouthpieces where I could breathe through my fucking mouth. Because sometimes when the going gets tough, I start breathing through my mouth, So, yeah, maybe it'll help Khamzat a lot. It is tough to grapple. So there's that side, but then also be aware. I had a doctor tell me your nose could break far easier. And I'm like, oh, I spar all the time. He's like, don't do it. So, yeah. So just a little 2 cents for you guys. I'm not a doctor, but I've talked to doctors. I think Khamzat Chimaev should be able to whoop Robert Whittaker's ass. I think he should be able to go out there, fucking ragdoll him, throw him around, take his back, ground and pound stoppage until the ref comes in. Potentially rear naked strangles him. But it's Bobby fucking Knuckles. And the way Rob Whittaker stands, it's that sideways karate stance. Like Khamzat's making jokes. Like, what am I going to lose to a karate guy? Don't disrespect the karate stance. It's hard to close the distance on those dudes. I've grappled and fucking sparred with plenty of karate people, not Rob Whittaker, but it's hard to shoot on them. It's like it's not as like Muay Thai when the hips are square to you. It's so much easier to get in on that shot. When they stand sideways and they bounce on their toes like Rob Whittaker, you always feel like, fuck, I got to time this thing properly, or there's too much distance. And do you remember Khamzat's last fight against Kamaru Usman? The first shot that Khamzat shot was halfway across the fucking cage. It looked like Tito Ortiz back in the late 90s. I'm like, what the fuck? And guess what? He still took Kamaru Usman down with it, which is crazy because he's a chain wrestler. All he needs is to get a hold of something. It'll climb your body like a ladder. With that being said, I could imagine Rob Whittaker having some success. I could imagine him being able, he's the better striker versus Khamzat. He should be able to outstrike Khamzat. And so it could end up being a fucking awesome fight. And that's kind of what I'm hoping for at this point, because I don't want to see either of these guys lose. I think Khamzat's career got all fucked up. I think Khamzat was supposed to be the welterweight champion and then move up and fight for the middleweight title and go for champ status. Instead, he fucking ate cheeseburgers or something and didn't make weight against Nate Diaz. He didn't take the fight seriously. And he got his whole career derailed from there. He's almost died twice. He's fighting at middleweight now. I think we missed 170 Khamzat so bad, because at 170, he was just way too overwhelming for these guys. At 185, it is not as much of an advantage anymore. He is a normal sized 185er. He's still strong as shit. His wrestling's incredible, but he doesn't have that freakish, advantage over people anymore, where he's just huge and too powerful. So yeah, if this being a 5-round fight is dumb. Whoever Khamzat Chimaev's manager is, what's wrong with you? Fuck is wrong with you? Why would a co-main event be 5 rounds when you clearly have a 3-round fighter? You clearly have a guy who dominates 10-8 first rounds. Why would you put him in this situation? Especially against a decorated former champion like Rob Whittaker, who has cardio, who can go 5 rounds. He's broken in the past, but I think he's dog tough right now. Like Rob Whittaker said before that Duplessis fight, I need a check, this and that. And I think he was serious. You could see the fire in his fucking eyes against Alaskarov. Against that Khamzat Chimaev impersonator, he was able to really, really go out there and blow him out of the water. I think we're dealing with a fired up Rob Whittaker. I think we're dealing with a guy who's going to be tough to break. I think this is a sick fight. This is there's 2 main events for me. This thing is awesome. I'm so excited to see it. And at the same time, AJ, it shouldn't be happening. At the same time, I feel like they could have fast-tracked Khamzat's path to the title, and that this is a very tough fight for him. I did not bet on this fight. I have not given this fight out. I am not as confident as you are in Khamzat. However, there's a clear path for him, and that's just to go straight beast mode on the wrestling and try to beat Rob Whittaker up. If he gets caught up kickboxing Rob Whittaker, going back and forth like the Gilbert Burns fight ended up looking like, brother, he could be in trouble. So fucking excited to see what happens.
Oh, Victor Lopez Barboza, thank you for the $4.99. We appreciate you, dog. And Finch, this one's for you, buddy.
Well, give me a Nate Diaz line. Fuck these motherfuckers. No, I need a good Nate Diaz line to hit him back with. Boxing over.
He said it's better.
What are you talking about, dog? What are you talking about? Like the sport of boxing? Because I like grappling. I've submitted 4 out of my 5 opponents.
He said it's better, dude.
Let's see if Michael could stop me from submitting his ass. All right. Let's see if you could stop me from taking you down, Mike. Yeah, I feel like if you just watch boxing, if you only like boxing, it's just the sport of fighting with your hands, right? Which is not much of the human body, honestly. So why not fight with your entire body? And that's why we like mixed martial arts, because it's much truer to a real fight. We're getting close to the real thing, right? And that is a much more honest competition between people. Less rules, get everything out of the way. Lock the cage, and we do a fight where we can kick, punch, knee, elbow, take down, strangle, break arms. That sounds like some real man shit. Your boxing sounds like a game, bitch. I'm in here fighting for real in a cage where I can kick people in the head and knee people in the face. I think you got to respect that more.
Let's go. There we go.
Thank you
Michael
for the
O'Brien.
$3. I appreciate it.
Yeah,
we
we appreciate you, Michael. I think the sport translates better in the games, though, bro. I played that new boxing game, Undisputed, versus the UFC game, striking. It's way cleaner. People will bitch about it, but it looks clunky at times, but the actual feel is nice. It's more like the movement is more realistic. I feel like it's nice.
Yeah, it makes sense because it's a more limited game.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So, I've played with Mike Tyson before, and I guess he's actually in the UFC game too, isn't he? I've played with Mike Tyson before with those boxing games. Yeah, it's fun. That makes sense. It's easier to make the fucking game. They don't have to do a fucking go-go plata. Okay? Right.
I don't have to
Can
put
you
that
imagine,
animation.
imagine explaining to a group of nerds who make these video games, okay, this is how you do an omoplata, and then when they roll out, the guy's going to go to scarf hold or side control. They're like, what the fuck? It's much easier to tell them jab, cross, hook, uppercut,
Yeah.
shovel punch to the body. It's a lot simpler.
Yeah,
Slip,
that's fun.
roll.
Rip.
Right?
I don't know. There's this narrative. This game sucks. I think that like certain guys that play it have like a weird expectation of it. So I don't know. I thought it was clean, this game.
I don't play games, folks. This is real life. This is real life. People think, what's the Drake line?
I don't know.
Right now.
I got to read the odds off, Finch.
Go ahead.
Minus 240 for Khamzat, the pick for both of us. With Whittaker at plus 205. It's weird that it's 5 rounds. I agree. But I guess it's because it was supposed to be a main event.
What's the corruption for Rob Whittaker's got going for him, man? They hooked him up. 5 rounds. The strategy's obvious. Rob is going to try to just keep him, get the fuck away from me. In the first round, everything's just get off me, right? And then when round 2, 3, 4, 5 comes, he starts turning it up. Isn't that obvious? Seems obvious to me. Jesus. So. 5 rounds makes no sense. If there's no belt on the line, if you're Khamzat's manager, you should not have him fight in 5 rounds.
Right. I agree with that. But it's all good. Listen, I think Chimaev is going to show everybody he's a finisher. And I think he's finishing Rob Whittaker and still undefeated. My guy on his way to the Dricus Duplessis fight, which I think is going to sell out an arena in South Africa. That's what I want in 2025. That's my AJ, the matchmaker hat on call. Let's keep running, Finch. It's time for the main event of the evening. We got over 400 live watchers. If you guys haven't yet, make sure you all smash that like button. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. Thank you guys for the love and support. We hit 39,000 subscribers on Wednesday, which I guess technically is the day before yesterday now because it's past midnight for me. But I just want to say, bottom of my heart, thank you to the Savages supporting. I love each and every one of you. And main event, Ilia Topuria, Max Holloway. Finch, man. I got Ilia Topuria winning this thing. I think he's the special one. I do think he's chosen. His hands are slick. His movement is quick. And I think he's going to hit Max Holloway like he's got a right hand made of brick. You know what I'm saying? Nah, he ain't going to hit him with the dick. He's going to hit him with the brick. I don't know. I think his hands are clean. The Holloway boxing is good, right? But the, best boxer in the UFC thing, when I watch side by side of him and Topuria, I'm like, I think Topuria is cleaner. Topuria's hands are smoother. Topuria's movement is better. He just beat Volkanovski, massive knockout, which was huge. I honestly think his aura is unmatched too. If you watched the press conference earlier, he was pretty on point with giving Max Holloway some trouble on the microphone. Now, I will give respect to Holloway. He looked awesome against Gaethje, but I feel as though he's better suited for 155 pounds. Taking the extra 10 off is going to diminish his power a bit here. And I think Topuria is going to have a lot of confidence walking Max Holloway down. I expect a great fight. I think Topuria lands cleaner punches. I don't know if we're going to see grappling. Topuria is underrated on the floor. Like, let's not forget, he's nasty everywhere. I just think that we're going to see a lot of striking, especially with Holloway being the BMF champ. Topuria saying he's a fake BMF. And Ilia Topuria has promised he will point to the center at the start of the fight, and he wants to slug for the first 10 seconds. Can you imagine a world where that actually happened? That would be BMF as it gets, yo.
Holy shit. That's fucking awesome.
I don't think Holloway's doing it, though. Holloway said no.
Max Holloway has had 33 professional MMA fights. Throughout those 33 fights, he has been knocked out a total of 0 times. Throughout those 33 fights, he's fought Justin Gaethje, Chan Sung Young, Arnold Allen, Alex Volkanovski, Yair Rodriguez, Calvin Kattar, Frank Yeager, Brian Ortega, the list, Anthony Pettis, Jeremy Stevens, Charles Oliveira, Cub Swan. The list goes on and on. In a resume comparison, Ilia Topuria is getting laughed out of the building. Ilia Topuria has fought Alex Volkanovski, Josh Emmett, Bryce Mitchell, and Jai Herbert. That's about it. Damon Jackson. Yusuf Zalal, that's good. All right, we'll give him a little more credit. But come on, man. A resume comparison, there is no comparison between these two. It's absolutely, you have to give a ton of respect to the epic resume of Max Holloway. Look at the distance striking between these two. Max Holloway fights on the outside. He keeps people at range. That's exactly what you would want to do against the Ilia Topuria. That's how Jai Herbert made it a fight. He kept being like, get off me. I'm a little bit longer. I'll try to find shots on you. He rocked Topuria. you don't want to be another short guy like a Josh Emmett or a Alex Volkanovski against Topuria. Obviously, these guys are getting beat up. So Max's style could lend to him here. And he's been 5 rounds many times. We haven't seen Topuria he went to the decision with Josh Emmett. I mean, he hasn't had to go through what Max has gone through. So all these reasons why the Max people are making sense. But the difference is, this ain't a fucking job interview. We ain't talking about resumes. We're talking about these two stepping into that cage. And Topuria, when he punches you, it's different. He swings with his whole body. Topuria is the better wrestler. Topuria's got better jiu-jitsu. Topuria is a red zone striker. So while he could be getting outpointed, no question he could lose rounds in this fight. I think he carries his power throughout. I like the way he's been training like a true professional. And I think Topuria can be the first man to knock Max Holloway out. I could see him coming over the top. If you even watch the countdown shows, I don't know why they're putting his sparring out there like that, because Max was saying he wasn't sparring. You could see how his opponents come over the top. When Max starts planting his feet and exchanging a little bit, they come over the top and hit that white headgear he had on. Brother, that's Max Holloway. Brother, you cannot let Ilia Topuria punch you in the jaw. That's all she wrote. So I do think Ilia Topuria closes the distance. I do think he gets shots off on Max Holloway. It's a sick fucking fight, but Ilia Topuria is the future. I think, you're going to have to find some other recipe, because I feel like even though Max Holloway could win rounds, he's getting clocked and we're scoring off a damage, right? I think Ilia Topuria is a fucking damaging fighter. Ilia Topuria knockout.
Oh my God. I love it. Real quick. Dono's in chat going crazy. All right, Michael O'Brien. He's all right.
No, whoa, hold on. We could do it. Kobe.
It's disrespecting the dead son of Ngannou. Rest in peace, man.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, rest in peace to his
crazy.
kid. I said Ngannou would wrestle in that fight. I was right. Riff Raff. Hey, Mike O'Brien, throwing shade with your monster donation. Keep the $2 and shut the fuck up. Thanks for the 20. These guys are putting in the work. If you follow Finch at all, he's been killing it. And Max is loved, but Ilia is scary, bruh. Riff Raff. Thank you, Riff Raff. You're not Riff Raff. You're a sweetheart. I appreciate that. And the heart Max is love. Dude, Max is the man. I got to interview Max Holloway, fucking 7 years ago. And he called out Khabib in the interview. And then Khabib's opponent, was it Tony Ferguson at the time, drops out. They throw Max in. So the interview was surfing. Max fucking really hooked me up with that. It's amazing that he dropped the Khabib line in my interview. I'd never heard him say that before. I think it was the first time he's ever said he called out Khabib. He's got balls. He's been in such incredible fights. We all love Max Holloway. I feel the same way as like the RDA fight. And $20, Riff Raff, you're a gentleman. Thank you.
Rob's FinTech $49.99 shadow box time. I'll be doing it tomorrow during the early weigh-in show. Canes, it's parlay time, and we have some fist fights to bet on. Let's go. Rob's FinTech. I appreciate you for $49.99. You're a savage. We will throw a little air shadow box, but if you want to see the big show tomorrow morning stream, I'm doing the live watch along for the weigh-ins, and I'll be doing a Q&A too. So tune in early in the AM with your boy. I'll be live before 10 a.m. Eastern time. Thank you, Rob's FinTech. We got one more, Finch.
Rob's, you're the man. Thank you.
We got DJ Oli Senti Man GA. Thank you for the 10. Made $300 with AJ's picks on the Roy Vol fight night. Haven't said a word about it, but I swear women are looking at me differently. They can sense I've been cashing on some rocks. Big fan of the show, my guy. That's great. I believe it. That's great.
Yo, good job, man. Hey, nice job tailing on that one. AJ killed that one. Fuck yeah, dude. Yeah, I think you're probably right, man. They know. They sense the aura. Your aura's changed. They sense
aura's different. No, I agree. His aura's changed. Shout out.
Call it Riz. You got Riz.
Yeah. Listen, now they change it. I don't even know if Riz is a word anymore. I got no idea. But you know what I know is true? Topuria for the W. All right. We're riding with the same side. Finchman and I both on Ilia Topuria. It's minus 230 for Topuria. Holloway plus 195. I think it's the time of new. And Topuria was the one to solve Volkanovski at 145. Let's not forget Holloway got 3 losses to the man. Sure, he hadn't been knocked out by Makhachev yet, but it don't matter. he still was able to absolutely devastatingly chin Volkanovski in the second round. Now, if you like Topuria by KO, it's plus 165. Decision is all the way up at plus 285. I see what you're saying about that overhand shot, and I do think he could be live to find that Holloway chin. Could you imagine he flatlines Max Holloway? Is Ilia Topuria, is he not already in the convo as the greatest featherweight of all time after he does that?
Yeah, geez. Well, by putting away those two, right? Max is not old. There's a big difference here. I'm talking about miles. Yeah. Max has miles on the vehicle, bro. There's a lot of miles on that car. So his brain switched. Like, why did he stop sparring? Do you remember he did that interview where he was mumbling and shit? Like, I'm not trying to say he's not healthy or nothing. That's not what I'm trying to say, but he's got a lot of miles on the car. Topuria is so fresh, bro. Topuria is so fast. He's so powerful. I like the high guard. Again, I can imagine Max pop, little dotting him up, but don't exchange with Topuria, man, because you'll end up looking at the lights. And I could see what people are thinking with, he goes the decision with Josh Emmett. Why would he be knocking out Max? It doesn't always work like that. Right now you're seeing a Topuria who's on fire, who just won the title. He's going to come in there with all the confidence. The stars have aligned for him, man. I think this is Topuria's night. And I picked Max against Justin Gaethje. I'm a big Max fan. I picked him in plenty. If I had won plenty of money betting on Max Holloway, Saturday it won't be it.
Listen to this. I just dropped this in the comments for you guys to see. Holloway has absorbed 2,223 significant strikes in UFC competition, the most in company history. Isn't that crazy? Max Holloway has been hit a lot. That's a lot of miles on the damn car. Can you imagine getting hit 2,223 times with significant shots? Holy fuck. That's why he wasn't sparring, Finch, because the brain health was important. Now, big fight.
Yeah, that's actually ridiculous. I did not know that stat.
Right?
Folks, you know what I mean by miles? That's miles.
That's more than miles.
And he's been hit by guys who can hit too. So he's been cracked a lot. And I'm sure his output is insane on their brains too. But, people like Max is only 32. He's in his prime. I don't know, folks. I think he could do a little bit better at the one weight class up, actually. I think this weight cut's a little tough for him. I don't know. I'm so excited for these fights. The co-main and the main are insane. Yeah, I'm sticking with it, man. Topuria, KO.
Topuria, KO. Main event call for the Finch. Me and him both going Ilia Topuria and still champ. It's a new generation. Michael O'Brien, experts and Finch, bro. Put the N in there. We're both walking W's. Man.
This is the MMA experts. You see his sign is plural. All right. So let's go.
I'm officially going by MMA expert now, Finch, just so you know. I am MMA expert too. I'm doing both.
You're MMA expert. Got it.
Yeah.
Grew up wrestling team when I was like
Finch
5
is
years
MMA
old.
expert too.
I've seen every UFC fight ever. I've competed in, maybe 30 grappling tournaments, maybe more wrestling tournaments than that. 5-0 mixed martial arts fighter, #1 ranked amateur in Illinois. Worked every single job inside gyms. I've been boxing coach, kickboxing coach, Muay Thai, jiu-jitsu coach. I've worked for UFC Fight Pass. I've done commentary on UFC Fight Pass and on pay-per-views for Hoosier Fight Club. I've worked for Bellator. Me and AJ have predicted every single fight in the last, 2 years now, every single fight on the internet for y'all. I train every single day. I train with plenty of the best fighters in the world. I train with plenty of the best jiu-jitsu fighters in the world. I work at UFC gym and then I come home and talk about fights every day for years. What does the word expert mean if, you're not including me as an MMA expert? Mike
O'Brien, pull up to Huntington Beach. Finch will show you what he's been working on over these past 20 years. Let's go.
I got you. This high elbow guillotine's ready for you, brother.
Gilly gang, Gilly Goose gang.
Hey, we appreciate the donos though. If you're going to talk shit, at least drop a dono. You know what I mean? If you're going to talk shit, at least drop a dono. Appreciate that, guys. You guys were generous tonight. Let's have some fucking fun. You guys ready to wake up early morning and watch fist fights on Saturday? Because I am.
I'll be up, bro. A little, later than you because you got the real early start. But I'll be up and at 'em, ready to rock and roll for an early morning card. But we're not done yet, Finch. I got a parlay to drop for the people, and we're going to jump into it and sing the song. Let's go.
All the competition that try to compete,
stand back, watch the bomb drop.
Parlay time. Open up your wallets and let's bet on some fist fights.
Yeah. Parlay time. The co-main and the main are sick. Let's wake up early Saturday morning. I was going to say Saturday night works. Saturday morning does not fucking rhyme at all. I got to start writing these out. Listen, folks, you know what I've had to eat today? This fucking Sprite. So forgive my lack of rhymes.
Really?
AJ, hit us with the parlay.
We're doing Khamzat Chimaev Savage Mode, and we're doing the over 2.5 Murphy Ige minus 120 for the parlay lock of the week. I'm blending the two together, and I'm riding with my favorite fighter in the game and a high likely over. Let's make it happen. Let's make MMA predictions great again.
My favorite parlay, I already bet on myself. It's in the premium channel if you want to go check it out on my Telegram. I'll drop a parlay, though. I already said it on this show. It's Farid, Basharat, and Geoff. I always fuck up that first name, Neal. Basharat and Neal, you put them together at money lines. That is minus 180. It was when I bet on it. I like it. It's still a parlay worth touching, and I'm working on a third one right now. So tonight, I'm going to watch weigh-ins. They start very shortly. I will drop more content in the free channel. If you want to see that, go and check it out. Link in description on my channel. My most confident bets are already out there. I dropped my 5 most confident bets. We just went through the whole fucking card right here. AJ is going to be live
in the morning.
Hang out with my guy AJ on Saturday. Of course, he does the weigh-in recap. AJ's got content for you every day, and I'm going to drop, like I said, a couple more videos in the free channel for y'all. We're cranking out the content because this fight's got us fucking amped. Well, AJ cranks it out all the time, but this fight specifically has got me amped. There's a lot of good bets here, and there's some bets to stay away from too. So dropping all that info as I can. Folks, I don't dress up like this often, all right? This is because Whittaker is about to get in a fist fight with Khamzat Chimaev. This is because Ilia Topuria is about to get in a fist fight with the BMF. I had to fucking button it up.
Let's go. Shout out to Finch with the swag. Check out Finch's channel. It's in the comments down below. I just dropped it. And subscribe to the boy. You just hit 8,000 subs too. Congratulations. I saw that, man.
I just got asked that. I'm like, I don't even know how many. Thank you so much. It's a baby channel compared to AJ's. AJ's
You're doing great things, man. Listen, we're crushing it together with Moneyline, bringing the heat every day of the week. Monday, we're back with Monday Madness again. This coming week, we're going to bring the heat, and we'll be talking next week's card. We'll be reacting to this card. There's going to be plenty to talk about, so keep it locked in on the channel. If you haven't subscribed, make sure you do. If you haven't smashed the likes, make sure you do. Tomorrow, ceremonial weigh-ins, live stream. I'll be live for the ceremonials, so expect me live before 10 a.m. Eastern time tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. rather Pacific time, and then weigh-in recap show dropping right after. So daily content coming. Don't miss out. Show the love to the Finch and sub it up to him. Thank you guys for tuning in. We're signing out. Finch, any final words for the people?
Final words are fucking enjoy yourself Saturday night. You know, we don't get awesome fist fights like this too. I really, really think we're going to get some excellent ones. There's a top to bottom. There's a lot of, fun fights on this card. We might get some fight of the year candidates. We'll see. Super, super excited. And AJ, you know, I'll tune in to hear your audio too. So I like to drop in when AJ's on his live. I'll try to drop into the chat. Let's make some fucking money too.
Let's go. Let's go. Finch, man, big W. People, big W. B Willie, thank you for the 199, and he's shitting on you, Finch. He never stepped in the cage.
What's B Willie's opponent's record? I know I fought 2 cans because they came in on short notice. So B Willie, when you're in the fight game in the amateurs and you're good, people back out on fight week. So it is what it is. I get an easy win over B Willie. He was calling me a 125er earlier. I'm like 187 pounds, bro.
He's a schmuck. He's a hater.
What is this guy talking about?
He's hating, bro. The haters are out tonight dropping donos for holy fuck, man. You know, we made it when they're dropping donos.
Y'all are going to hate it. At least pay us. Thank you.
Facts.
Thanks, I fought a glory kickboxer. How about that? Look up Nico Jefferson, KO. My man Nico's got some power, B. Willie. Let's see you fight Nico.
Let's go. Thank you. Shout out Finch. Respect the G. 5-0. Don't doubt my boy.
AJ's a 1-0 boxer?
Dude, I don't want to talk about my record, bro. I'm 8-1 on the streets, baby. Let's go.
You don't want to fuck with AJ and I, all right? Me and AJ are a tag team, okay? AJ will fucking knock you on the ground and I'll choke you the fuck out, man. Don't fuck with the MMA experts, folks.
Let's go. Thank you guys for watching. We're sliding out. Peace. See you soon. Bye-bye. Good night. Much love. See ya.